All right, so we just listened through Within Destruction's new album, Lotus. So now we're going to talk about it. I'm going to give you a little summary, and then we're going to go into a little bit more of a deep dive on it and give you our ratings and such afterwards. So, at first I thought it was okay. I was a little underwhelmed by it. I think the second half of the album really picked it up. They started implementing more melodic stuff. And I gotta say right off the bat, that ending was fucking great. I fucking love when deathcore type bands do instrumentals. Classic. Oceano Depths, Whitechapel, on that one fucking album, whatever it is.
Chelsea Grin, Elysium.
Yeah, deathcore instrumentals. They really as an interlude or an outro, is a perfect thing. And when you have, super fast blast beats and all kinds of shit, I think, it really helps cut it up. And I wasn't expecting that at the end, and that ending fucking blew me away, especially because I said that Pop, the track right before that one, would have been a good ender. So that ender into that outro, fucking perfect. I think the second half of this album was really fucking good, actually. Like I said, the first half was a little underwhelming, but it still had some like decent notes in it. It was still listenable, enjoyable. I like that they blend a lot of like trap beats and stuff in there. I like that it's pretty much present throughout the whole entire album. There's lots in the background, and but it does take over sometimes. They do let it have its own like moments and solos and stuff, if you want to call it that. And they even have, I think it was like, what was it, the first song? There's like actually like a fucking breakdown of the trap beat. Like it goes and then it like gets slower, and it's like really cool that they do interesting stuff with the trap beats. It's not just like a basic trap beat. They save the basic stuff for kind of the background stuff. So I think it did help out the album as well. Production pretty standard, nothing really out of the ordinary there. It's fairly just well done, deathcore production. The cleans very there was a lot of cleans in here. I wasn't expecting a lot of cleans. It was pretty cool because it kind of made the album feel almost closer to like metalcore. It reminded me of like the Miss May I album that we just listened to. That style of cleans, I think it kind of gave the album its own like identity. Like it kind of tied the songs together, having that kind of flow with the cleans so prevalent. And then especially in Dying World, I thought the cleans of that were great. That was definitely one of my top tracks. Ultima being my favorite track, honestly. That last, like, just the instrumentals, I just love it, how pretty it was and everything. Yeah, and then like I said, the first half of the album, it's kind of, there wasn't a lot of like breakdowny stuff. There just wasn't a lot of like stuff that really stood out other than that like that trap breakdown in the first song. I really liked though that the trap beats, they also like they did interesting stuff with it. Like it changed like tempos and stuff in the middle of, and they would like switch directions with the beats themselves. And but other than that, I think the guitar work is, mostly standard. Again, in the first half. The second half, it picks up a lot. I really wish this band, honestly, would just turn down the knob on the deathcore part and lean into that melodic stuff that they do. It might just be a personal preference of mine. I really love melodic hardcore is like one of my favorite genres. I love when bands have pretty stuff and they're heavy at the same time. That's my favorite thing. And I think when these guys do that, when they mix that, I think they do it fucking really well. And I wish they would press that more than, Neo Yakuza, which was like kind of just deathcore, but like in with the weird, repetitive Neo Yakuza. That was just, you could have cut that song out for me, just personally. Hey, no offense, the band, cut that out, make that album like 38 minutes. That I think the score would be even higher for that. And like I said, I would love to see these guys lean into that melodic sound more. I think they do it really well. And, with deathcore in the state that it is, I think it kind of needs that. Mix that melodic stuff, mix the trap beat in there too. Still, all of that, the little '80s solos, fucking great, man. Do all that stuff, and more. I think that is a way to make this band stand out even more, because they're not like, I don't think they're like, they're big, like a lot of people know them, but I think they could be bigger. What I'm trying to say. Yeah, I'd say my favorite tracks were "Dying World." The little it was like the softer song. Again, I just like the little break in the in between. All the crazy heaviness. And the clean singing was very good on that. And then Ultima and Pop. Honestly, Pop was really good. It had the crazy heavy, super fast fucking blast beats and the double bass at the end, and then that into Ultima, which was just this beautiful fucking outro. Fucking love that. I love that. So I really actually, like I said, I had low expectations. It kind of stayed low the first half, and then it ramped up. I think they really made me enjoy this a lot more than I thought I would. So, Jordan, what kind of stuff are you thinking here?
Basically, about 90% of what you said is
Yeah.
probably what I was exactly what I was thinking. Like for me, the first half was very kind of slow, and I was kind of getting disappointed, and I felt like they were gonna lean a little bit more into, just like kind of the verse, chorus, verse stuff. But they changed it up. I feel like them adding the trap stuff in there really, really, really helped keep that from getting too repetitive. Because whenever you're hearing those types of songs, whenever they do come in with the trap beats and stuff, it kind of gives its own identity, which really, really helps it. And it keeps it from just sounding like any other band. So props on that for them. Yeah, I'd say if they probably got rid of like maybe the second song and the Neo Yakuza,
Yeah.
I think it would have been the
Mhm.
perfect length, and I feel like the album would have flowed a little bit better. Um, that's just my taste. Toxic, maybe that's because we heard Toxic on stream before, so we've heard it before,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like maybe it's got a little bit of that, but it was also really kind of more of the generic song. I really liked, like you said, with the trap breakdown. I think it was on a Nightmare.
No, it was
That
on, I
was
think it was on
very.
Lotus. Yeah, I
Was
wrote
it?
it down on
Oh,
Lotus.
okay, yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
had, yeah,
It was the first
first
song.
track.
It was the first song. So, yeah, that was kind of cool.
They just had
I feel
it.
like,
There was more trap stuff on Nightmare as well too.
yeah, and then more of the other songs, it was just kind of more in the background with like the
Hmm.
trap hi hats and stuff. I think the clean singing was pretty good. It's kind of got like that pitched cleans kind of pitch singing kind of like type thing, which it gives a little bit more character. And it keeps it from being just like the super poppy chorus, or like the guitarist that has like the bluesy kind of low kind of mid cleans, over the chorus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Devil's Prada. But yeah, I feel like the moments whenever the cleans were there, I didn't really mind them too much because of that. I I feel like if they maybe would have just kind of mixed that in with all the rest of like the later songs, and maybe have a chorus, like it doesn't have to be like two choruses or three choruses. Maybe if they just throw it in on some of the songs, or maybe have like a little bit more of a break in between the heaviness, more than just kind of like uh that one song, "The Dying World." That one had a little bit of that, where
Hmm.
the intro was kinda clean, and then the cleans came back kinda, in the middle, and it had a little break. I feel like it I don't wanna say I like the heavy songs more, but I feel like the songs where the instruments do a lot more than just like the normal chords over a chorus and stuff.
Yeah.
It really picked it up a lot more for me, which they started doing that like you said about halfway through, which really really picked it up, and I feel like the instruments all in general just kind of picked up.
Yeah, because
Um,
like I think the trap, honestly, like the especially in the first half, I think the trap stuff was more technical than than like the guitar work. You know, the guitar work was kind of just, you know, more like just standard kind of deathcore. You know, just
Yeah, so whenever they
chugging and
started doing
riffing.
that more and they brought in like those really kind of 80s sounding solos,
Yeah.
those solos were really, really good. There was just enough of them where it wasn't annoying. I think there was maybe three
Yeah,
solos,
it was like two or three. Yeah,
not including the last song, which had like it was like a whole
the
tapping
whole song.
solo, like
Yeah, yeah,
basically that came in for the beginning and the end. So yeah, I feel like really whenever they lean into the more the technical instruments and stuff, and the heaviness, they really did it a lot or a lot better because deathcore nowadays it's kind of gotten more just black and deathcore
yeah,
and. I guess there's kind of like a little bit of a resurgence of like the breeze and stuff, which there was some on this, which I kind of appreciate, other than in the Neo Yakuza song, which was like really annoying. I
yeah.
feel like yeah, that was just a little bit too much, but that song was just too much in general, and I'll get to that a little bit later. But yeah, I feel like second half was definitely my favorite. Like Revenge was really good, Dying World was really good, um, Pop and then Ultima were really
Good,
good.
good song
Uh,
name, by the way.
yeah, Ultima Weapon, yeah, Ultima Spell, Final Fantasy 7, and 8 and 9. But yeah, I was gonna say the Neo Yakuza song was I feel like that leaned too heavily into the trap. I feel like the song was more of like a trap structure than a metal structure. And I feel like that was more of a detriment. I feel like whenever
Mm,
they leaned too far into like one direction or the other, I had a problem with it a little bit. So I feel like maybe what I'm saying is just whenever they mix all the different elements into one, I really like it because, it's really unique. There's not a lot of bands that are playing solos and stuff like that, or not a lot of bands that are just going just more straight deathcore and then mixing things other than blackened in it. Um,
yeah,
so whenever it was just the right amount of trap, the right amount of deathcore, and like the right amount of melodic, feel like they really they could go like a lot farther. I feel like
yeah, yeah.
just
That's what I'm
just throw it
saying.
on that.
Like they have like so much potential there if they would just
Yeah,
press
they have
that.
a lot of potential. So hopefully on the next release, hopefully they'll just kind of add that, maybe mix everything a little bit more, and I think they'll be perfect. I'm not gonna give this album a perfect score, but it definitely halfway through it bumped up the score, and then
Yeah,
the
I
last song definitely bumped up the score a little bit. So, um,
think my score will be
I I,
surprising for some people when we get to
I
it.
overall I really enjoyed it. The first half just kind of really took some points away from me. So, but I feel like they had enough forward steps that it really progressed the album. Um, and even in just like the structure, how it kind of did start off more verse chorus verse, but then it just became more varied as it went. So I feel like they might have been a little bit conscious of that. So overall, I really like that. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so now we're gonna give our ratings. So Jordan, what are you gonna rate this?
I'm going to give it I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay, okay.
It had that just amount right amount of melodic and stuff at the end, but just the first half and that Neo Yakuza really took some points off of it. Because at that point, I was just, man, this song is like eh,
Yeah.
this. I don't know.
It was
Um,
very
it
underwhelming
it
for
was too
sure.
much. It was too much.
Hmm.
And the first half just being a little bit underwhelming took a point off. So 2 points off. I mean, that's still that's still an A. I
Yeah,
mean, if we're going S as a 10,
yeah, yeah.
then
This
that's
is a
still
10.
an A.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Um, I so despite I think the first half of the album was definitely weaker. We can all agree on that. And despite having that song Neo Yakuza, however, despite that, I think the other songs, how much I enjoyed those other songs and the interesting stuff that they did in the other songs. I think literally just take that one off, and this could have been a 10 out of 10 for me. So I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I'm at very high. Like I said, that ending just made everything feel so much better, and I think um, and like I said, I still think even though the first songs were a little weaker, they still did some interesting stuff in there. So that with the prettiness and stuff that they started building up and layering up, 9 out of 10. If they would have cut out Neo Yakuza, I could have seen myself, very close to giving this a 10 out of 10. So like I said, next album, I hope maybe they'll see this, maybe they'll be like, maybe we got something going on here with that, with the melodic shit. I think that they really press that, they could do some really great stuff. While
Yeah.
keeping the deathcore stuff in there too. Um, but yeah, so great fucking album. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. So 9 out of 10 here, 8 out of 10 over there, very high A. So great job
Yeah.
with Destruction.